Imagine this. You're standing in a room staring at a single beam of light passing through two narrow slits. What happens next isn't science fiction. It's one of the strangest, most revolutionary discoveries in modern physics. That light behaves differently when it's being watched. Just by observing, reality seems to change. This isn't magic, it's quantum mechanics. And it forces us to ask a question far bigger than science alone. Does consciousness actually shape the universe itself? For centuries, we've seen the universe as a grand machine, cold, predictable, ruled by physical laws. But in the 20th century, something cracked that certainty. In laboratories, scientists noticed that tiny particles didn't behave like solid objects. Instead, they acted like clouds of probabilities existing in multiple states at once until someone looked. And in that moment of measurement, the wave of possibilities collapsed into one reality. That's the essence of the observer effect. The act of observing doesn't just reveal reality, it may help create it. This idea was first exposed through the famous double-slit experiment. Fire electrons at two slits. If no one observes, they create an interference pattern, like waves overlapping. But the instant detectors are placed to watch which slit the electron goes through, the interference disappears. The electrons act like tiny bullets. They choose a path. As if the universe waits for someone to check before deciding what to be. This experiment has been repeated countless times. The result is always the same. Observation changes the outcome. It's not the tools doing it. It's the act of measurement itself. Some physicists interpret this as proof that the observer is deeply woven into the fabric of reality. Others argue it's just the math of quantum mechanics playing out. But one thing is clear. The universe doesn't behave like a fixed movie reel. It's more like a story that's still being written. So what does this mean for consciousness? Some thinkers like John Wheeler, one of the great physicists of the 20th century, suggested that the universe is participatory. In his view, observers are not passive viewers of a finished cosmos. Consciousness plays a role in shaping what becomes real. Wheeler's provocative idea was that we might live in a kind of cosmic feedback loop. The universe gives rise to observers, and observers in turn help bring the universe into focus. This doesn't mean that humans create galaxies by looking at them. But it does hint that at the most fundamental level, reality might not be complete without conscious participation. A universe with no observers might remain a blur of probabilities, never fully choosing its state. There are stranger possibilities. Some interpretations of quantum mechanics, like the many worlds theory, sidestep consciousness by saying that every possibility happens in parallel universes. Observation doesn't collapse reality, just tells us which branch we're in. Others, like the Copenhagen interpretation, take the collapse as real but mysterious. And then there's the more radical idea. Consciousness itself is not a byproduct of matter, but a fundamental ingredient of the cosmos. Modern experiments keep pushing the boundaries. In 2019, physicists tested Wigner's friend scenarios, thought experiments where two observers see conflicting realities. The results suggest that objective facts may not exist the way we think. Two observers can genuinely experience different versions of the same event. That shakes the very foundation of what we call reality. Even cutting-edge quantum computing faces these puzzles. Every time a qubit is measured, its delicate state collapses. The machines depend on carefully controlling what is seen and what is hidden, echoing the same observer effect at play. But let's step back. Why does this idea capture so many imaginations? Because it blurs the boundary between mind and cosmos. If consciousness participates in shaping reality, then we're not just tiny specks in a vast and different universe. We're active players in a strange cosmic dance. Philosophers have wrestled with similar ideas for centuries. In ancient traditions, the role of the observer, the perceiver, has always been central. What quantum mechanics did was give this old intuition a scientific twist. It showed that, at least at small scales, the universe is not fully determined until observed. However, we must be careful. Not all physicists agree that consciousness is necessary for the observer effect. Some say observation is just interaction with any measuring device, no awareness required. Others argue the mystery is overstated. But even among skeptics, no one denies the experiments themselves are real and puzzling. Now, here's where the story deepens. What happens at the quantum scale might have echoes in the macroscopic world. The human brain, with its billions of neurons, is itself a quantum observer, constantly shaping the reality we experience. Every perception, every decision, is part of this ongoing interplay. In recent years, some researchers in quantum biology and neuroscience have even explored whether consciousness itself might rely on quantum effects. It's speculative but fascinating. If true, then the line between the observer and the observed might be far thinner than we imagine. The observer effect also raises profound existential questions. If reality depends on observation, then the universe may not be a cold stage, but a co-authored story. Our awareness might be part of the script. This view doesn't hand us cosmic control, but it does place us within the deep structure of existence in a way classical physics never did. Think about it. Single experiment with slits and light beams cracked open centuries of certainty. It forced us to admit that the universe is stranger, more subtle, and more intertwined with consciousness than we ever guessed. As we push deeper into quantum research and grapple with the mysteries of the mind, the observer effect stands like a quiet riddle. Does the universe wait for us to look before deciding what it is? Or is observation simply the final brushstroke on a canvas already painted? We may not have the final answer yet, but one thing is undeniable. Mystery connects the deepest science with the oldest human questions about our place in the cosmos. So what do you think? Are we just observers in a pre-written universe? Or are we participants helping reality unfold? Share your thoughts below, and if you want more deep explorations like this, subscribe to Zyric, your window into the hidden patterns shaping our world.